All right, guys, this is going to be our reading lesson for Tuesday, September 8th. We're starting our Unit 1, Week 5. This is our 5th week of our reading series. We'll keep adding to this PowerPoint as the week goes on, probably. So make sure you're looking back. Your spelling words are also on this PowerPoint, so you gotta make sure you look back at those. So before we get started, these are some key words that are going to be in our stories this week. So we have the word exchange, homework, lucky, members, treasure. So the first one we have is exchange. So exchange means to trade one thing for another. So an example is Kim wants to exchange her apple for Ken's pear. Wants to trade it for one thing or another. She's going to trade her apple for a pear. Now, what I want you to do is, I want you, whoever's at home with you, I want y'all to talk about these things. So I want you to ask each other, what is something you might like to exchange with a friend? What's something that you might like to trade with a friend? Our next one is homework. We all know homework really well. Homework is schoolwork. I don't know if I'm presenting my screen. I really hope I am. Nope. I am. Yay. Okay, good. The reason I said that is because I just did a math lesson and I was hoping I didn't ruin it. So good. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Got distracted. Homework is schoolwork that children do after school at home. So, example, my teacher gave us lots of math homework to do tonight. Y'all might think I do that sometimes, but my teacher gave us lots of math homework to do tonight. So once again, great question to ask with whoever's at home with you. What kind of homework did your teacher, me, give you to do tonight? There's lots of things to talk about. Our next one is lucky. Lucky, I love this word lucky. Lucky means having good things happen to you. Example, Elizabeth felt lucky to have Marisol as her friend. So it was a good thing for her to have Marisol as her good friend. That's really a nice sentence to say. Once again, talk to the person at your house, and both of y'all talk about these things together. So each of y'all ask each other these questions and talk and explain why you picked what things that you picked. So tell about a time you felt lucky. When was there a time in your life that you felt lucky? And then tell me, why did you feel lucky during that time? Our next one is members. When people are members of a group, they belong to the group or club. Example, Joan and Billy are members of the Richard family. They belong to that family. Some of y'all might be members of Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. You belong to that club. How do members of a family help one another? I like that question a lot. How do members of a family help one another? Make sure you're asking each other those questions. And our last one to think about is treasure. A treasure is something of great value. A treasure is something of great value. Examples: Billy's model car collection is his greatest treasure, it's his thing of greatest value. So, what has so much value for you that you would call it a treasure? For me, it's my wedding ring. My wedding ring has a lot of value that I would call it a treasure. So make sure you ask those questions to each other, talk about it, explain why, pause this and take a few minutes to do that to each other, with each other, because that's going to help us to understand our story that we're going to listen to in a second. All right, so this week we're going to be talking about, we've talked about, we had fantasy last week. This week we're talking about expository text. It means it's informational. Okay, it's informational. I'm going to tell you about something. I'm going to tell you about something. So, informational text is a type of nonfiction. Remember, nonfiction is real. It gives facts and information about a topic, and it contains text features. We'll talk more about text features tomorrow, but here's some examples: photograph, map, diagram, chart. These are all things that help us to understand that informational text. We've talked a few times that um, fiction text is really easy to understand because we have a lot of schema. We have our background knowledge for it. We have a lot of schema for it. But we might not have a lot of schemas about volcanoes. Okay, we might have to look at the photograph and the caption. We might have to find a map of where they're at or a chart of what's happening in that volcano. So text features help us to understand informational text, things, stories that are giving us information about a topic. All right, and here is our story, Families Working Together. I'm going to go ahead and play this for you guys. I think it's this one.
Families today. How can families work together? Every family has a lot of jobs to do around the house. One of Joan Richards' jobs is walking the dog each day. On a sunny day, that's fun. On a day with miserable weather, it's not fun. Sometimes Joan's brother Billy is willing to exchange jobs with her. He will walk the dog in the rain, but she has to take out the trash. Both jobs get done. Trading jobs is one way the members of the Richard family help each other get their work done. They also have some fun ways to work together.
So I really like that first one. How is a great question for y'all to think about your family. How do y'all what type of jobs do you have in your family? And are there things that um, you exchange with one another? I know my job in my family is to do the laundry. That is my number one. We all help out around the house, but that is my job to do the laundry every week. Um, Another person's job is to do the dishes, and it's great because I don't like doing the dishes, but I like doing the laundry. So sometimes you can exchange jobs of what works best for you and your family members.
Even cleaning can be fun. Sometimes Joan and Billy play music when they clean their rooms. After cleaning for a while, they take 5-minute dance breaks. Sometimes they wear costumes to clean. When mom comes to check their work, she might see a princess, a raccoon, or a baseball player cleaning. Mom says she's just happy the job is getting done. Sometimes grandma helps. She tells Joan and Billy that cleaning is like a treasure hunt. They might find something they lost or really like. Grandma's right. One day, Billy found the missing piece to his puzzle. Another day, Joan found a ring that she had lost. Sometimes they find a quarter or a dime under things. They wonder whether they lost this money or Grandma hid it as a treasure.
I wonder, as I'm listening to the story, our next slide, we're going to talk about thinking aloud. And as readers, we want to think aloud. We want to wonder about what's happening in the story because it helps us to make connections. And just like we talk about math, the more connections we make in our hippocampus, the more patterns and things we can see that helps us with understanding. So I wonder how your parents or your grandparents or whoever it is that takes care of you guys, I wonder how they would feel if you dressed up to do your chore. Would they be upset that you did that, or would they be like, "Oh well, at least you're doing a chore"? I wonder about that. I wonder. Big question to ask people.
In the kitchen, Mom cooks most of the time and Dad cleans up. Sometimes they exchange these jobs. The kids are happy because Dad makes pancakes in funny shapes and little pizzas with faces. He also likes to cook outdoors on the grill. Dad sometimes makes a big mess. Mom says he uses too many pots and pans. After Mom helps Dad clean up the mess, she's ready to trade back for the job of cooking. Joan's job after school is doing her homework. Mom, Dad, and Grandma take turns helping Joan and checking her work. Joan is proud of doing a good job with her schoolwork. Grandma likes to see what Joan is learning to do on the computer. While Grandma checks Joan's homework, Joan helps Grandma learn how to use the computer. Joan has a lot of fun being a teacher.
So as I was listening to that part of the story, I was wondering, I wonder what jobs your family members have. I know we talked about that a little bit in that first slide, but um, do you switch jobs? Do you exchange? Are we happy? Are we, would you rather someone else had a different job? And I love that they talk about how Joni's job after school is to do her homework because right now, outside of home, your job is to go to school. Now we can do that in our houses this year, but your job is to go to school and to do your work and to try your best. Right? We talk about that all the time, doing our best effort. Just like people who are taking care of you, their job is to go to work and provide for you and do their best that you have everything you need. We all work together to make those jobs happen.
Special events call for special jobs. When someone in the family is having a birthday, Grandma has the job of baking the birthday cake. Nobody would exchange that job with her. She makes the best cakes. Joan's job is to help, and she never trades that job. Joan's baby sister is about to be born, and everyone has special jobs for the baby. Dad paints the baby's room. Billy helps Dad. Mom and Dad go shopping for a crib and baby clothes. Grandma knits a blanket for the crib. Joan picks out some baby toys. All the jobs get done. Everything will be ready to welcome the new baby. This baby will be lucky to be joining a family where everyone knows how to work together.
So, are there ever another thing I'm thinking of? Is there ever jobs in your family that are special, that are just for special occasions, maybe a special holiday or a special event like a birthday? Is there any jobs that y'all might have? And if not, should there be? Should you have special occasion jobs? Just curious. All right. So as I said, I was kind of modeling how to think aloud, because when you think aloud, it helps you ask yourself questions about the text, and then you can look for answers in it. This can be helpful for you to better understand the text. And just think about it as when we are in math, we're using our fingers, we're drawing models. We know that helps our hippocampus lights up and helps us make connections. Well, if I'm thinking aloud about what's happening in the story, I'm not just reading the words or listening, but I'm actually thinking of how to connect it to my life, I'm doing the same thing. My hippocampus is lighting up, making connections, and I'm understanding my text better. So try that. Try that for your stories. Every couple pages, sit and what do you think? What do you think about what happened? All right. These are our, I believe these are some of our spelling words, but we have short I and long I. Those are our skill for our word work that we're going to be using today or this week. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice isolating the middle sounds in words. So with everything, we have a beginning, middle, and end. We have a beginning, middle, and end in writing. We have a beginning, middle, and end in our stories. And we have beginning, middle, and end in our words. And what we want to try to do is figure out those sounds so we can blend them together. We can blend all those together. So I'm going to say more words, okay? And I'm going to I want you to listen to the middle sound you hear in each word. And if that sound let me know if that sound is a short vowel sound or a long vowel sound. Now, you can do this with people who are with you at your house. So you should say the word sick. And let's isolate that. And let's say sick, sick. Well, I hear an I. And I is a short I. And I is a short I. I say it very shortly. Very short. I. Okay. The next word we have is like. So once again, let's break that apart. L, I, k. L, I, k. L, I, k. Like. So there I don't hear I. I hear I. I hear that long I sound. So that one has a long I. Let's look at the next one. When. So let's see it again. Break it apart. Wa, n. Wa, n. When. I hear I. I hear I. So if I hear I, it's a short I. If I hear I, it's a long I. Because I'm saying it long. I. Okay. So that one has a short I. Then we have the word pine. Let's break it apart again. Pine. Pine. So I hear that I, so that has to be a long I. That has to be a long I. All right, the next one is ripe. R, I, p. R, I, p. R, I, p. Ripe. So again, I hear that I, so there has to be a long I. So sick and when have an I, short I, and like, pine, and ripe have a long I. You notice in those words like, pine, and ripe. Look at the spelling of those three words. And what do you notice? What do you notice about those three words? Like, pine, ripe. Tell whoever's with you right now, what do you notice about those words? And we'll come back to that when I talk to you on Tuesday. Now what I want you to do is I want you to do the rest of these words. just like we did it, breaking apart and isolating on that middle sound. So the beginning, middle, and end, and isolating, that means we're really focusing on that middle sound. That's the only thing we're focused on is that middle sound. And then blend it together and tell the person you're with, what do you hear? Do you hear it, short I, or I, a long I? And we'll talk about it on Tuesday. All right, so what I want you to do before class is I want you to read this story, Family's Work. I want you to read this story, Family's Work. And as before you read, it says, and we've talked about this before, knowing why you're reading a text can help you focus on important details. So before you do anything, I want you to look at these pages. I want you to read this essential question, what happens when families work together? Look at the pictures. Look at the pictures. And then go back to that slide 7 and write a purpose. Let me focus on 14. What do you wonder about this? I want us to think aloud. What do you wonder about this story? Just write, what do you wonder? I wonder, I think, what do you wonder about the story? And then as you're reading, I want you to come back here and I want you to write 2 interesting words. 2 interesting words. You're going to do these 2 boxes. And then you're going to read the story, just 2 pages. And then when we get together, we will do some of these activities in the margin. So all you have to do is read the story. All right. So last week we talked about subject and predicate, and now we're going to put it together. Okay. We're going to make sure that we can expand our sentences. So it says expanding sentences help make writing sound better and more interesting. It means you add more details. We're not first grade writers anymore. We're second grade writers, which means we can put more details in our sentences. So this is a great first grade sentence. Great first grade sentence. The boy rides the bike. But we're not first graders. We can challenge ourselves to do hard things. And we can think, how can we add more details to that? Well, there's lots of ways you can expand your sentence by adding information about the subject or predicate. And here's 3 ways. The first way, you can add more to the subject. Okay? Instead of just saying the boy rides the bike, you can say the little boy. You're going to give this an adjective. Okay? The adjective describes the noun boy. So you're going to say the little boy rides the bike. Well, that already makes your sentence sound more complex and more like a second grader. That's adding more detail. Another way you can do it is you can just add more to the predicate. So you can go back to the boy rides the bike and you can say the boy rides the red bike. So once again, you're giving this an adjective. An adjective describes the noun. So you're saying this bike is red. You're describing what this bike looks like. And then if you really want to challenge yourself, and you want to really write kind of third grade sentences, is you can do both. Okay, you can say the little boy, you can describe the noun. The little boy rides the red bike. So you can describe the subject and you can describe the predicate. That's how you can kind of detail your sentences. If you don't have an activity on Google Classroom of how you can keep doing this, and then we're going to expand on this in our writing this week. And then here are your spelling words. You have another assignment on Google Classroom. It'll all be underneath your homework of what you need to do. So that is our PowerPoint today. I'm going to go ahead and go to your Google Classroom. Oh, I forgot about this. I've added to your anchor chart. So I've added to second grade anchor chart. I'm going to keep adding to this. So I added a reading, and I added, this chart was in your PowerPoint, but it's also here in case you want to see it, in case you just want to go back and reference what this looks like. Reference means to go back and look at it. So if I want to make this big, I just hit this present screen. And then instead of having to go all the way back to the PowerPoint that has all those things on it, I can just go to my anchor charts, do a classroom, and I can remember what an expository text is. That's always there for you. It's always good for you to look to see if I've added anything to that. Now let's go to second grade reading. I've already added your homework assignments. All right, so you have a vocabulary homework. You're going to, I need to put this PowerPoint in there. You're going to watch the vocabulary PowerPoint, and then you're going to complete pages 68 and 69 in your Unit 1 reading. Your Unit 1. Get it out for you. workbook. Unit 1 workbook. Remember the one that bends. Unit 1 workbook. Page 68 and 69 after you watch the vocabulary PowerPoint. And I'll put that on there later. Your other homework is, after watching my video of our instruction time today, you're going to complete these 2 assignments over your spelling and grammar. So you have a Google Doc about the nouns, about subjects and predicates. You're going to make sure you go, remember when there's a scroll bar, you want to scroll all the way down. You're going to put your answers in this box. You're going to rewrite the whole sentence and you're going to add to the subject for the first part. And then down here, you got to make sure you read the directions. Rewrite the sentence in the box below, but this time you're going to add to the predicate. You will just make sure you go all the way down so you can't go down anymore. All the way down so you can't go down anymore. Now your spelling is really, I think, kind of fun. So if you're spelling, you got your spelling words. You got that with you, but we want to practice what you can do. So what you're going to do is, and it says here, look over your spelling words that are in the PowerPoint for 920. I've highlighted these letters. So you have, starts with a D, and the hint is 3 letters. So you have to go back to your PowerPoint. I think I got rid of, nope, go back to your, and really, you might not. You might know what it is. And you say, okay, you're not going to go back to your PowerPoint. I got ahead of myself. You're going to look over your spelling words. You're going to practice knowing what your spelling words are. And then you're going to type in what you think it is. And then you can go back up here and you'll know how to highlight. And you're going to unhighlight and see if you got that right or not. If you didn't get it right, you're going to do it again. And it's a fun way to play with our tools on our computer so we can become more tech savvy. That means we're kind of masters at our tech. And once again, it says up here you have 10 words, but there's a scroll bar. So you're going to scroll all the way down to make sure you get all those words. And the last thing you have for reading is to read for 20 minutes like you do every single day. And that is our reading lesson. I'll see y'all in class.